Hello, my name's Helen Nurse. I would like to read you an extract from this beautiful book, Yael Inokai's Ein simpler Eingriff, A Simple Procedure. This novel was nominated for the German Book Prize, and it has won the Anna Zager Prize this year. It is a beautiful, haunting story of three women's lives. They intertwine at a hospital that has developed a risky and experimental new procedure for eliminating mental health disorders, in particular in women. Although it's never mentioned, it's clear to the reader that some form of lobotomy is being practiced here. I'm going to read you an extract about my favorite character, Marianne, who is a fierce, imperious heiress. She's an heiress to an industrial fortune. She is also incredibly vulnerable and can be very childlike. She is just about to find out that the procedure is going to be carried out on her. We both looked at the door where we were expecting her father and the doctor. I knew so much about her, and she knew nothing about me. I knew about her episodes. There was an anger in her that could grow so huge that it detonated, destroying everything around her with wild accusations, screaming, and acts of violence. The anger came on suddenly. Anyone near her at that moment barely had enough time to get themselves to safety. The physical superiority of her three brothers was hardly any use. Marianne's fury was bigger than them. I had often seen photographs of the Ellerbach family in the local paper. The father was surrounded by his three sons, daughter and wife. He invariably looked as though he were the only one in the picture. Marianne always stood next to the same brother, the youngest. The two of them were 18 months apart. He looked astonishingly like his father. Whilst Marianne's gaze swept slowly around the room, I watched her. You couldn't tell she had episodes. Yes, there was the loud laugh, the restless limbs, and she was childlike. She could have been at least 15 years younger, the way she openly stared wherever she felt like it, at anything or anyone. Aside from that, there was no sign of her disorder, although the seemingly normal can flip abruptly at any time. I knew that by now. She didn't get up when her father entered the room. "Morning," he said to his daughter, and she nodded in acknowledgement, half-heartedly returning the greeting. She was probably the only person in the world who didn't intuitively rise when a man like that entered the room. As for me, I took a step backwards when I saw him. It was utterly involuntary. She let him kiss her forehead. He put his hand briefly to the back of her head and pulled her close. Now, he murmured. For one moment, a second maybe, he wasn't an Ellerbach. He didn't fill the entire room. He was simply a father being affectionate to his daughter. She continued jiggling her feet, not a grown woman, but a child, submitting to his affection. When the doctor arrived, I noticed to my surprise that even he seemed paler compared to an Ellerbach, like a photo whose colours had faded. Yet he was an unusually impressive presence. This had nothing to do with physical attributes. The doctor was neither tall nor broad-shouldered, nor was his face special in any way. But he knew who he was, and with this certainty, he took command of everything. "Good morning," the doctor now said, and when the customary effect failed to materialize, he turned to me, indicated the file in my hand, and instructed me to take notes, please. He might as well have said breathe. It had been important to Mr. Ellerbach that the doctor meet them first without his assistant, a special request from special patients. Made by anyone else, it would have been refused. Yet this time, the doctor had even seated himself on a chair, so he was eye level with his patient. "These episodes," he began. "That's not me." He nodded, grateful for the interjection. "No, that's not you. Of course it isn't, which is why I would like to help you get rid of your anger, if you will allow me." She nodded hesitantly. "There is something inside you, and I want to make it go to sleep. It won't bother you anymore. It will be asleep forever. It's as simple as that." The doctor explained to her what would happen, leaving out all the words that could cause unnecessary anxiety. The father had been given a different version of the explanation, and the staff yet another. Nonetheless, what he was saying here was the truth. Despite all the simplicity, it was a delicate operation. Fear made things delicate. The woman listened. Sometimes she asked, "Will it hurt?" "No, it won't hurt." For the first time since the others had entered the room, she sought my gaze. I nodded in agreement. No, it wouldn't hurt. That came later, but that wasn't mentioned at the time. Thank you for listening. Enjoy. It's a beautiful, beautiful book.